Hi everyone, John from LookSmart Home Inspections right here in New Jersey. And today I want to talk to you guys about an important topic. Some of the questions that you could be asking prospective home inspectors as you're calling them on the phone and you're interviewing them. Listen, finding the right home inspector is a super important thing. You don't want to end up with somebody with no or little experience, a weekend warrior, something like that. You really want to do your due diligence and ask that prospective home inspector the right questions so you are confident that that is the right person to inspect this awfully expensive house that we have here that you're probably purchasing in New Jersey. So the first thing obviously is years of experience. I think you have to find somebody with at least 10 years of experience performing home inspections. And you'll say, well, John, that's really hard to do. But is it? It's not really that hard to do because there's a lot of us out here in the field that have way more than 10 years of experience. Listen, home inspections is not something that you can just learn from a textbook. It's actually something that you learn performing hundreds and hundreds of home inspections in the field, and you build your knowledge base as you see all of the defects that homes can have. So using a textbook is great. However, it's not really how you learn how to do this profession. So try to find somebody with at least 10 years of experience because they're going to be the ones that are more capable of protecting you and understanding the problems that may exist in the home that you're purchasing. Along with experience goes how many home inspections have you performed? Listen, you don't get comfortable in doing home inspections till after you perform 1,000 or 2,000 home inspections. And you'll probably say to yourself, how is that possible? Oh, it's possible. I mean, there's a lot of things to look for in a home. There are thousands of issues that can go wrong in a house. So to get really proficient, you need under your belt at least a couple of thousand home inspections. So when you're asking home inspectors, one of the questions you should ask is not only years of experience, but how many home inspections have you performed in your career? That answer should be in the thousands. And that's going to be the guy or the girl to better protect you when you're thinking about purchasing this home. Listen, these homes are super expensive. So you want somebody with plenty of experience to be able to give you that information so you can make right decisions about the house that you're thinking about buying. You also want a home inspector that is part of one of the larger home inspection associations, either InterNACHI or ASHI. And these are the two large home inspection associations in the country. Now, what happens is that these associations have their own educational requirements. So if your home inspector is a member of one, or hopefully both, he or she has to meet those educational requirements to stay in good standing as a member of those associations. So not only do they have to meet the state requirements, they also have to meet the requirements of these associations. Now, it's true, some of those will overlap, but not everything overlaps. And so you could understand that somebody who's made a commitment to education will be a member of one or two of those larger home inspection associations. So ask that question when you're interviewing your home inspector. The next thing to ask is, what kind of report do you create? And can I get a sample of that report? Getting a sample is crucially important because this way you understand what the finished product is going to look like. Because I've seen hundreds of home inspection reports. Many of them are absolute garbage, and they don't tell you anything. They play word games. They have all of this language in them that's just all protective language, and they don't really tell you very much about the problems that exist in your home. And if they do tell you about the problems, every single line, the home inspector is telling you that or this has to get further evaluated. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why are you paying me if you have to hire somebody else to further evaluate a toilet that's loose? Doesn't make sense. So listen, make sure that you get a couple of samples from that prospective home inspector. Look at that report. If that report is 20 pages, that's not long enough. You can't report on a whole huge house, right? Even a medium-sized home, say 4-bedroom, 3-bath with a basement and an attic. You can't do that in 20 pages. It's impossible to produce a good product like that. So listen, these home inspection reports, some of us create reports that are long and detailed and have hundreds of pictures, right? If you're paying the same money, why wouldn't you want the best product? So make sure that you get those sample home inspection reports so you can do an apples to apples comparison between the home inspectors that you're thinking about hiring. The next question is, how long do you take to inspect a house? And if the answer is 2 hours, that's not enough time. Take, for example, our 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, attic, basement, exterior. You have a deck on the back and a garage. How are you going to do that in 2 hours? I can't do that in 2 hours. It takes me an hour to do the outside of a house in most cases because I'm looking at so many different things and taking so many pictures and so many things that good home inspectors have to report on. So the answer should be 3 to 4 hours. And if it's not 3 to 4 hours, you are shortchanging yourself. So that's a great question to ask the home inspector. Hey, how long is this house going to take? And if they go, 90 minutes, 2 hours, that's not enough time. You're shortchanging yourself. Please do not do that. There's those of us in this business that do home inspections very, very thoroughly, very, very comprehensively, and we take our time because we understand that we are there to protect you in this house, and you need to understand all of the problems that exist in the home. So make sure to ask that question, how long do your home inspections take to perform? Next question, can I attend the home inspection and can I watch what you're doing? If you ask that question and the home inspector says, nah, I like to just do my own thing, you can certainly come later on and I can give you a synopsis. A synopsis? No. What you want to do is make sure that your home inspector is comfortable with you attending the home inspection. And if they're not comfortable, that should make you think, that should put a red flag up. No, something is wrong. Either this person is not comfortable with me asking questions, or they're not comfortable with me looking at what they're doing, and they're not comfortable in giving me the information that I need because they just want me to read it in a subpar home inspection report, usually. So make sure you ask the question, can I attend my home inspection? The answer should be resounding yes, you can attend. It's no problem. If you want to get involved with the home inspection, you absolutely can. Can you ask a good home inspector questions? Yes, you absolutely can do so. They shouldn't get upset. They shouldn't get mad. They should be very, very patient people because when you boil it down, this career is a teaching career. It's not just walking around a house with a clipboard, making check marks. This is you're educating your client about the home that they are buying. You are transferring information that you have and trying to do your best to give that information to your client. That is essentially what our job is. Our job is communication, both written communication and oral communication. And you need to hire a home inspector who's good at both sides of that communication. Next question, how long does it take me to get the home inspection report? Listen, here in New Jersey, you don't have a lot of time between the end of your inspection contingency period and your due diligence period. That's usually about 10 days. So if you're doing your home inspection, you don't want to wait 5 days to get a home inspection report, right? You want to make sure that that detailed, comprehensive report that's loaded with pictures comes right away. And that the answer should be the next day, right? So good home inspectors, we're going to produce a home inspection report, have it to the client the very next day so they can start looking at the report, working on it, and giving that information to their attorney so the attorney understands what, if anything, that client is going to ask for credits or money back from the house sale. So that's really, really important, is to get an expeditious home inspection report. Not only detailed, tons of photos, well written, but it has to be fast. And good home inspectors understand that is a crucial piece to our client. The next thing to ask is just, what do you perform on your home inspection? Do you have any other ancillary services or inspections that you can help me out with, so I don't have to go into the marketplace and try to hire somebody else? So it's good information to have. So take, for example, some of us do sewer line inspections. Some of us do mold. Some of us do asbestos testing. Some of us do lead testing, and other ancillary services that might be useful to you, the prospective buyer of the home. So make sure you ask the question, hey, what other inspections should I know about that you perform? So that'll give you more information when you're narrowing down your hiring decision for a home inspector. Next question, do you use thermal imaging in your home inspections? The answer should be yes. It's 2005. Home inspectors should be using thermal imaging. Now, back in the day, there was a lot of confusion about thermal imaging. Does it see through walls? It's some kind of, magic trick that home inspectors can use. There's a couple of home inspectors on TV that made life a little bit difficult for us because customers didn't really understand what thermal imaging was. So briefly, a thermal imager gives the home inspector an idea of differences and changes of surface temperature of walls and ceilings, floors, and objects in a home. It doesn't see through walls. What it does is it sees differences in surface temperature only. However, this can be very useful for a variety of reasons, right? Sometimes we can find hidden water leaks with thermal imaging. Not all the time, but sometimes there is absolutely a use case for that. We can find missing areas of insulation, which are very useful. You want to make sure that there's no large areas of insulation in a new house that you're purchasing, right? You can't see behind those walls, but differences in surface temperatures of the walls and ceiling, we can ascertain and get some good information regarding how well the builder has insulated the house that you're thinking about purchasing. So those are two very, very important use cases. Also, we can use thermal imaging when we're looking at an electrical system, and if there's any hot spots or anomalies in the electrical branch circuit wiring or the electrical panel box. So thermal imaging definitely has its purpose, and you should be hiring a home inspector who utilizes thermal imaging in their home inspection. It should be part of the inspection. It shouldn't be some kind of ancillary thing. It's really necessary. Look, these thermal imaging cameras have gone a long way. They're very small and compact versus what we used, 15 years ago. So there's no reason why a home inspector can't have a thermal imaging camera right on their body and utilize that camera during the home inspection. Take pictures and give you more information. Remember, the more information you have, the better decisions you can make for you and your family. Thermal imaging, very important. Next question to ask, are you going to go into the crawl space or the attic? Some of these houses have a very small scuttle hatch or opening, and these can be found in a closet per se, right? So it's sometimes very difficult for a home inspector to get access to that small scuttle hatch. You want to hire a home inspector who can get in there, who's not afraid to get in there and not afraid to walk inside the attic space, even if it is unfloored. Look, we have a lot of experience in homes. We should have enough experience to know where we can walk and where we can't walk in an attic space. So it's really important to ask the question, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Home Inspector, I have a small scuttle hatch in the master bedroom closet. are you going to be going into the attic? Because let's face it, the attic portion of the home inspection is really an important aspect of the home inspection. You can't do 3/4 of the house and say, no, I can't go up to the attic space for one reason or the other. That seems crazy to me. I go up there. All my colleagues that I know who are really good, thorough, comprehensive home inspectors, we go up there. We go under houses in these small little spaces too, because you know what? That's where the problems are going to be. Now, certainly we're not going to put ourselves in danger. If it's too small, it's too small. But at least the home inspector should attempt to get in there, and you should ask the question, especially if your house has 1 or 2 crawl spaces, either in the attic space or below the home. Are you going to make an attempt to get into these small spaces? Because honestly, that's where the majority of the issues are going to be. It's not going to be in the bedrooms. It's going to be in the crawl spaces. The next question is, can you do a radon test and can you do a wood-destroying insect or organism inspection? So those two things, radon, wood-destroying organism inspection, and wood-destroying insect inspection, those are part, in my opinion, of a full and comprehensive home inspection. They're not optional, right? We have to be able to supply these services, right? So most of us here in New Jersey, home inspectors, are licensed to do radon testing, and we have the right credential to use the NPMA 33 form in New Jersey that most mortgage companies will need. And that's the termite. That's the wood-destroying insect form here in New Jersey. Now, to utilize that form, you have to have some licensing. Although I won't get into the weeds with that licensing, and that licensing doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, but that's another video. But in any event, you want to make sure that the home inspector that you hire is capable of doing a radon test and capable of doing a termite and wood-destroying insect inspection. You don't want to hire 2 other firms or 1 other firm to do that. You want that home inspector to be able to do the comprehensive home inspection, the radon testing, and the termite or wood-destroying insect inspection, absolutely as a minimum. The next question you want to ask a prospective home inspector is, are they available after the home inspection to answer any questions that you might have? Look, it's totally understandable that you're going to have some questions after the home inspection. And you don't want the home inspector to be a ghost, right? You want to be able to either call them or email them and have some of your questions answered, because it's really, really important to get clarity on those issues if you have any that you don't understand. I mean, houses are complex, and if you're a new home buyer, maybe you don't understand all the stuff in the home inspection report. Maybe you need the home inspector to just go over 1 or 2 items with you. But you want to make sure that that home inspector is going to be available to you after the home inspection, so you can fully understand and get any of your questions answered. That's crucially important, and make sure you guys ask that question. Because you want to, without that, you're sort of left on your island. You don't want to be on an island. That island is uncomfortable. So you want your home inspector to be a partner with you. You want them to be available and accessible and help you and guide you through this process if you need help. There you have it, guys. There's some common sense questions that you can ask some prospective home inspectors before you hire them. Even if you're working off the list that the agent provides, you can ask these questions. Even if you're doing your own due diligence, which I certainly recommend, you can ask these questions. This is not all the questions you could ask, but these are just some of them. And that'll help you sort of weed down and narrow down the field of prospective home inspectors. I hope this helps. If it helps 1 or 2 people, I'm happy. If I can ever help you answer any home inspection questions, I'm John from LookSmart Home Inspections. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.